Hi everyone, I'm Megan and I never TikTok, okay? Never. Don't really go on social media that much, but I have something very important to share. And I feel like it's important for the world in general. Um, I am a clinician, first of all, and I'm not going to share where I work or any identifying information about any clients, my location. I'm not sharing any of that, but I just want you to know about the corruption with insurance companies, specifically Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina. So I had a client who was with me a few months ago, and he had relapsed while he was in treatment with me. So I had to refer him out to a higher level of care. Anyway, since then, he had overdosed and ended up in the hospital, attempted suicide twice, has superficial cuts all up his arms, and is experiencing command hallucinations telling him to hurt himself and others and to relapse. So just keep that in mind, okay? So I was even questioning accepting him into a PHP level of care because he might have needed a higher level of care, but his father kept in contact with me and his mother, and they really wanted him to be at our facility because they said that he did really well here when he was here, and he did. So I didn't realize that he was hearing voices though until recently when he was honest this time. So the insurance company denies the claim, and I'm like, he doesn't meet medical necessity? Like, if this kid, and he's only like 19, if this kid goes out again, he's gonna die. I mean, he tried to smoke bug spray. I mean, like, just the risk was so severe. So I had this woman's phone number who works with different treatment centers, and she's like the head of Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina, because a few months ago, I had another client who was also denied. And I had to jump through hoops and call her, and the doctor didn't even review the files that he asked for, which I think is completely unethical. But anyway, and he was just appeasing me, like on a peer review. Like, it's where you talk to the doctor and you're like, listen, this person really needs care. And here's the thing, like, I'm not in this field to make tons of money off of clients' insurance policies. It's literally like a little boutique passion project, and they're paying like 2% of what's billed. So, and these people are paying for these insurance policies, right? So anyway, my partner notices that the last client they denied was African American, and this current client is biracial. Yet we have 3 Caucasian clients, no issues at all, and they were much less severe. So I called this woman again, and I brought it to her attention, and I said, and I also called the client's father, and I told him what was happening, and I told the mother what was happening, because they were like crying out of happiness that he was finally being honest about hearing voices, so we can medicate him, and he can have a chance, you know? So I called her, and I said, listen, this is discrimination. Like, it's, and they're like, oh, well, we can't see the race. And I said, that's interesting. So when you apply for insurance, you don't have to put your race or ethnicity on the application? She's like, oh, well, the doctors can't see it. And I said, that's interesting, because in every biopsychosocial assessment that we send you, it says it all over the chart. It says what race they are, what sexual orientation they are, how old they are, what they present with. So I think that's actually a lie. That's not true. So she basically looked it over and ended up approving the days because the father called her too. And I told her, I said, I'm going to take this as far as it can go. His father's going to own Blue Cross by the time we're done with this, because this is wrong. This is discrimination. And I said, I don't know how you can look yourself in the mirror when you're in a position to help people and all you're thinking about is the bottom line, which is money, right? Contributing to tons of deaths because they don't want to pay. They don't want to pay for the treatment that's needed. And addiction is a disease. So I just needed to share this because I couldn't believe it. And I'm advocating for really all treatment centers. I mean, we deserve to be paid for the services that we provide, especially if we're really in it for the right reasons. You know, I'm not some mega treatment center. You know, I keep people for like 6 months. Like, this is wrong. And the insurance companies, they don't even review my files. Like, they ask for me to send them like as a formality, but they're already planning on denying the claim because they're like, well, they can actually stay sober outside this level of care. But I'm the licensed clinician and I'm with the client. So how can you overrule my clinical impression? It just doesn't make sense, and something needs to change. And I don't know what needs to change. I don't know how. And I never really asked the how. I trust the universe. But if anybody does know how, please comment, because this is happening all over. I mean, it's literally happening in hospitals too. They're not paying. They're just not paying. So now when you go to the hospital, you have to actually pay like what you owe before they treat you. I mean, not like the emergency room, but like doctor's offices and things like that, because the insurance companies are corrupt. They're absolutely corrupt, and they find every reason not to pay. Every loophole. Like one of the claims said something like that didn't even make sense, like something like a 2-year-old would write. And I was like, what does this even mean? So if there's anyone else out there that's struggling with this, you know, I would really like your feedback and help in figuring this out. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I advocate for my clients. I really care about the recovery. I don't want the revolving door of people coming back and relapsing so I could make billions of dollars. That's not my model. I'm actually implementing a new model that hopefully will help a lot more people, because traditional treatment, it's just not cutting it, and especially when insurance companies just cut off people's treatment whenever they think it's time, and they don't pay. So why are we paying for insurance? I really don't understand. Anyway, thank you for listening, and hopefully someone can help me out there. Also, one more thing, I asked the woman that I spoke to from Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina, I said, how do you look at yourself in the mirror, knowing that you're contributing to death and overdose, knowing that this client attempted suicide because of command hallucinations? You're in a position of power to do the right thing and help people. So why wouldn't you do that? It's confusing for me. Like, I'm not saying I'm a martyr. I'm not perfect. But I am kind and I am authentic. And I do truly want to help these people.